Hi everyone, this is where UPZ actually started. That's what a normal person says when they start a podcast, right? This is Ultra Podcast, the episode 150, believe it or not. It's funny because you think that would be a milestone, but I feel like we've had too many milestone episodes already that we just kind of. I guess the milestone is that we're talking about anime today, which is unusual to say the least. Um, but
You
yeah,
never talk about anime?
we very rarely do, and when we do, it's very much in passing. And I think the only anime I talked about was Fina Pirate Princess, which is hilarious because I only watched the first episode of that, even though I was so excited to see it. And I think it even debuted in the US first.
Yeah.
And I got to see the preview before anyone because they sent us a screener, like a link or whatever. So I watched it like, gosh, I think in August. I think it just came out earlier this month, and I watched it last month sometime around the time when I was talking about it when I was so excited. And I did like it. It's just hilarious that after all that hubbub that I made about it, I'm like, yeah, anime. Manuel's gonna watch an anime like currently at the time it's supposed to be running. And I didn't do it. And
Yeah.
I'm Manuel, guys. I'm Manuel. I don't know. I'm stupid. I get all these opportunities to do anime things, and I don't anime.
Yeah.
Joining us tonight is speaking of anime, speaking of weebs, speaking of pho. It's the Photaku. It's Josh from Talking Ever. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi there. I am a photographer who likes Photaku. And I have been doing almost practically nothing except being on Genshin Impact as of recent and watching whatever's like on Netflix and group partying stuff on Crunchyroll.
It's not to keep. Oh, sorry, I was talking about like 5 feet away from my mic. Not to beat a dead horse about how Manuel ignores anime stuff. We have a free premium Crunchyroll account because of press reasons, and no one uses it. It's hilarious. It really.
I'll take it. I'll write reviews.
It's hilarious. No one uses it.
So you have a spot open for anime reviews. Wait,
Yeah,
I see you at anime cons. You talk about idols and then, have fun and do karaoke and party.
Yeah.
But there's like no actual like anime thing.
And now you know why.
Yeah, there you go. Because I'm weird like that. I always thought that we'd fill in the holes with an A to J and we'd have other people do it. And then I just keep surrounding myself with more and more music people, gaming people. And I say that with such disdain as if gaming people, music people. But nobody ever does anime. Anyways, JD, introduce yourself because you're going to be a bit more involved in this one. We never introduce you anyway.
Yeah. Hi, I'm JD. I'm the silent voice here. And if you can't hear me, I'm just the voice in Manuel's head. But luckily, I know you can hear me right now.
Yeah,
I don't know why I laughed that way.
Woo!
But yeah, this is we're talking about anime today. Nyaru was supposed to be joining us, but then she literally busted a Nyaru, which means she canceled 10 minutes before it went live. That is not a joke. So every time when the show ends, and I say thank you, Nyaru, for not canceling 10 minutes before it went live. No, because it's funny because a friend of mine, I mentioned this in the past, a friend of mine actually does watch some of our shows. Mainly the Drink Talk Learns, but now that that's bi-weekly, I think they just watch a UPZ every so often. I think they just put it on that like they really watch, but they pointed out it's like, God, you're so mean to Nyara. Why do you keep telling her like, why? At least thank you for not counseling. Thank you for not counseling. This is why she really does it, guys. It's not just me being mean. Anyway, sounds like what?
That's a character from Genshin Impact.
Oh, Beidou?
Beidou, yeah.
Beidou?
Pirate captain. Or I guess boat captain? I don't know if they're technically pirates.
Genshin's a funny thing. Don't worry, we're going to jump into the what are we doing, but I want to talk about Genshin real fast. Apparently Genshin has its 1 year anniversary this time-ish.
Yeah, it's celebrating it now.
And it's hilarious because Genshin was previewed like 2-ish years ago, like before the pandemic. And I remember it was part of this whole trend, and it was hilarious because the trend came so late. I guess they had developed the games, but it was part of the trend of all the Breath of the Wild ripoffs, where the games were very stylistically Breath of the Wild. And there was a very famous article that like Kotaku wrote about, or somebody wrote about, where there was this gaming convention. I think it was in China. It could have been like somewhere overseas, but I think it was in China. And the crowd there saw Genshin Impact being played at the MiHoYo booth, and they all, in disdain over this Breath of the Wild ripoff, lifted up their Switches with Breath of the Wild on them, and just like you're like a weeb version of lifting up like lighters or whatever at a metal concert. And they all did that. And that was a very famous image. Articles are written about it. Friends I know who devote their lives to Genshin now shared the article and lolled about it. And I don't think people ever put two and two together. I think they all just thought they were making fun of a game, of a random game. And then when Genshin came out, I don't think people realized, like, oh, that was the Breath of the Wild ripoff that everyone raised their Switches over. Do you know that? Did you ever see that story, Josh?
I didn't see that story. I just only heard the news article stories about it being like, hey, this is a ripoff of Breath of the Wild, when I was looking at a Nintendo what's called, so it's like a Nintendo Facts thing where they were talking about like, here's all, like, it's not just Genshin, there was like a whole line of like Chinese games that were ripping off Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and for the record, I don't want to say that I'm like knocking on Genshin Impact. If you want a Breath of the Wild ripoff, you could find one. That one really isn't. It just kind of has a stylistic thing to it. A lot of people compare it because you could burn the grass and shit like that. You could start little fires.
Damn meter.
Yeah, things like that. But it's not. It really isn't. Also, I refuse to play much Genshin because I do feel that I'll get somewhat drawn in. There was
the only thing that can top is love for the CCP.
Oh my god!
I think what's happening is that you just haven't decided to dive in there, because like, I want to say, as somebody who used to be Genshin clean, I got into it and I've been playing for almost a month straight, catching up on all the stuff I didn't do, and it's pretty fun once you get a busted 5-star that you can like just give all of your resources to, and then what's it called? It's like, okay, so like, you know how with Breath of the Wild, like, I don't really want to compare the two since I've actually played the fuck out of Genshin. What's it called? But you know how you can mix up stuff in your equipment in Breath of the Wild, essentially, whenever you're going into dungeons and stuff, and it's like, you get the fun of being able to solve puzzles or get through some things, not necessarily by like using like brute force equipment, but you could like, fuck around with some stuff, and it's pretty cool. I like seeing stuff like that. But in Genshin, I want to say that like, it's kind of more on the emphasis of the like player character part of it. So like when you play what's it called? It's like the weirdest mix between like a Dynasty Warrior game and Devil May Cry, because like the way that you deal with enemies is not like complete like backwards crazy ass shit that happens in Dynasty Warriors. But at the same time, the fighting system isn't nearly as integrated as Devil May Cry. It's like this weird little cool mishmash where everything's very simplistic, but what happens is with the player combinations that you come up with, like, you can express yourself in like weird ways. And so like, before I even got like 5-stars and stuff, just playing between certain characters, I liked seeing elemental attacks just combine one into another. And I think the people are talking on the chat thing.
Oh yeah, I'm reading some of this. Apparently, your girlfriend's talking about she got you into it. Oh wait, who's this? Ketching. Yeah,
Kaching. Yeah,
Kaching?
It sounds like it's Chinese pronunciation. You probably know better than I do. Kuching.
Oh, well, yeah. It's like Kuching. Yeah. I'm actually. Who's the one that's the fucking Jiangxi? The one that's like the ghost
Chi-Chi.
one. Chi-Chi, is that the one that's okay? I saw Chi-Chi up there too, and I was gonna say that I was gonna make the obvious joke about Chi-Chi, but I didn't know that was her. It's funny that there was this character that dropped or was released or something like that about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And I remember I have this friend of mine named Ivan who does a lot of the cosplay photography for A to J, and actually he's been going to a ton of conventions for A to J. Like, he's been doing shit we haven't, but he apparently has never spent a dime on the game. I don't know how true that is. Everyone says he's lying, but he says he never has. It's all through just luck and whatever he's able to get, like through pulls. I'm not sure exactly how the system works, but I was really drunk one night, and I think I tweeted Moshi Moshi Jesus Death or whatever, and he replied to my tweet, and he's all like, "Oh Jesus, can you help me with get pool whatever that new character is? I think it's the one who can't cook." Because I kind of because he sent a picture of her when he won her, or he got her, whatever, and I'm like, "So it shall be my child," and he actually got it. It was like his first pool, and part of me wants to make that a thing. It's like, see, I helped people with Genshin, but then I'm like, that was like, man, you quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead. Speaking of quitting while we're ahead, we should probably move on from Genshin.
Oh yeah,
But
that
no,
was that's Raiden Shogun.
what is this? Kachin,
Raiden
Wow.
Shogun. Yeah.
Kokumi, Koko. I can't
The
read
new
it.
character who just like came out.
I think that might be a spoiler.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Wait, no,
I have
it's
not.
not a spoiler. Actually, it's in the trailer. Somebody told me it's okay. It's not a spoiler.
Okay. Yeah, I just
Oh,
got to Inazuma. I haven't gone through much of it yet. Because, like you, I started like maybe 3 weeks ago, and I've been glued to it for a while.
Oh, you've been playing Genshin too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Why do you think I knew so much?
Am I the only one not playing Genshin now?
Yeah,
I think I
can
am.
just join in. And if I want to elaborate on the kuching thing, technically I would call it that, and I only want to have kuching because she reminded me a lot of Virgil. But to be completely fair, there's only one way to actually play Virgil in this game, and you need to have Shinshu in order to do that because Shinshu has his damn summon blades. So you need to like stock up your elemental burst, use that, and you switch into kuching, and now you have the closest thing to Virgil that this game has. But other than that, because I have to explain myself to someone, no, the what's it called? The way that like the reason I said Devil May Cry as something that I want to combine it to is because you're switching between loadouts of either guns or swords. So when you switch out to another character and they're like a different class, and you're trying to string a combo maybe or trying to do stuff with them, like that's what happens in Devil May Cry. Between your loadout, you try to switch between everything to have the most stylish combo between your swords and your guns, and that's what makes me get all giddy whenever I'm able to like transition from character to character doing really cool ass shit. And you can juggle hilly trolls and enemies like when you're able to. There's like some Fatui that are like stupid unjuggable, including the samurai. But like when you're able to get like some of the bandits or the hilly trolls, like in a good combo, you could like fucking keep them up like it's some Tekken shit. It's awesome.
Wait, what? Genshin won't give me Kaching. Oh, dang. Oh, look, Warren's in the chat. Everyone's like in the chat. Warren, you need to join in playing Genshin too. Stop playing that DFO bullshit. DFO is so. Actually, people are still playing. Like,
Okay, so it's
but
pretty
yeah,
obvious we've moved into what are you blanking?
What
Talking about what we've been playing. What are you blanking?
I've actually. It's funny because similar to like quasi. I know it's not an MMO, but quasi MMOing daily type things. I've mentioned. I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I've been doing my dailies, quote unquote, in Animal Crossing, New Horizons, for all year. Like I started playing again, like maybe around March, and like I literally just do the dailies, just go through the motions. But last week when they had that trailer for the new Animal Crossing shit, I've actually been kind of playing. I've been like trying to get like my town more situated, my island, I should say, getting new characters in. I want to get it's okay. I wanted to get Anka in for the longest time, and I've had her amiibo. But now I feel weird moving Anka in because Anka had that viral, like, sex video, like that was also went viral last week. If you haven't seen it, just Google Anka sex and yeah. But
I don't want to know
yeah,
what Manuel's been Googling to get to that.
well, I mean, it was a thing like people were mimicking on. Okay, everything's. By the way, I don't know if you know. I feel like a boomer, like a weird, like, "Hello, fellow kids," like saying this, like a boomer, like thinking he's trying to be young. But I live on TikTok a lot, and there were a lot of TikTok things, like mimicking that, like parodies of that, until they banned it. And then people were getting angry because it's like, oh, what's wrong with the internet? This is like, like furry, bestiality shit or whatever. It's very furry-ish, obviously, but it is what it is. Welcome to the internet. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of dailies. If you don't know, if you played Animal Crossing last year and kind of didn't and dropped it since, there's a new update coming up in November, and I think in early October they're going to have a special what do they call it? A direct, a Nintendo Direct, where they're gonna just announce the updates for it. Basically, they're gonna keep completing the games they did not complete last year. Because that's what Nintendo does apparently these days. They release half-finished games, and then they complete it over 2 years, which I guess is admirable because they rarely charge for it, but still annoying. It's still really annoying because like they fit like it's not like other AAA people where they kind of release a okay-ish product. They'll release one that's like bare bones, like Anyway, playing
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. What are you playing, JD? Or
Like I
doing?
said, Genshin Impact and
VTuber.
Apex Legends right now.
Apex Legends.
Yeah, it's the Titanfall Battle Royale. Like, if you mix Fortnite with Overwatch, basically.
All I know about Apex Legends, I think, because what's her face? Hina used to stream that a lot, and so did Snacks, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to become more accepting of first person shooters, especially battle royale type ones, but like they all feel very samey to me. What makes Apex Legends good?
I like all the characters in it. They all have their own.
Oh, there's characters.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
gonna lie,
like I
I
said,
know
meets
this.
Overwatch. They all have distinct personalities and powers. My favorite is one called Horizon, who's a Scottish scientist who got trapped in a black hole and through time dilation wound up like 100 years in the future and is trying to go back to keep a promise to her son.
Huh.
Yeah, and she has gravity powers, and that's just really cool to me. Like gravity or electrical powers are really cool to me. That's also one of the reasons I want Kuching. Is because electrical powers and a sword, which is also really cool to me.
What? And then let me also ask you, since we already talked about Genshin and talked about Apex Legends, why are you not preparing your island for Brewster's arrival? By the way, I didn't say that earlier, but Brewster is going to be added to Animal Crossing. You don't know Brewster's the one who runs the cafe.
Are you talking to me?
Huh?
Are you talking to me?
Were you gonna say, Josh?
I'm still playing Animal Crossing every day.
Oh. News to me. What were you going to say, Josh?
I was gonna say that they kind of like curb stomped on Animal Crossing, the savior of everybody for the pandemic, and then like they have the teapot thing that I'm like barely learned about that I'm like trying to like fix up in the actual game, and yeah, it's like imagine Animal Crossing, but now you have a game system that just takes away the whole like, oh, remember all this stuff you have to do to level up your thing? Well, you know all those characters that like you want to have and add up? Why don't you just take the characters you rolled for and you can throw them on the island and you can just, all be cute together. Swimming available from day one, just saying like and oh wait, do you want to have an island? What if you want to be in the clouds, like up high in a mountain? You can have that instead. Or do you want to have like I forget what the other what's it called option
City
is?
in the
but,
Sky,
like,
I think.
No, is it? Because I thought the sky is kind of like the mountain.
Oh, the
range.
beach maybe.
Yeah, because I thought the beach is kind of like the island, but like either way, it's like if you want, like you have these options in like this little like side thing that's just meant to be cute, and I kind of feel that like what's it called? I kind of feel like that makes it hard when there's so much stuff that you could do on top of it. The only reason that I didn't stay on Animal Crossing is because I would look at other people's stuff and be like, oh, I want to do that on my island too. That looks really dope. And then I went over to my girlfriend's island and it was already really dope. And then, yeah, it was. I felt like there wasn't as much to do. And
There
then
isn't. The issue also is I've been to some of the really cool looking ones, and we've actually talked about having her on the podcast in the future. So look forward to maybe having Stephanie Yanez on here one day. But Stephanie Yanez actually became like minorly viral. I don't know what else to call it on Instagram for sharing her island, and I went to it. And it looked really cool. And I think she has like 2,000 hours in the game. It's insane. But I went to her island. It looks awesome. But that son of a bitch takes so long to load in, and it lags. It lags.
I don't
And
remember
like
it lagging that bad. Are we just talking about when you go to visit other people's islands?
no. It has to do with it has to do with my internet either. It has to do with the fact that like it has to like load in a ton of objects because it'll be like when you go to the center of the island, it's like load in everything. It's just like you go through this really nice. She had it like decorated like a Japanese village, and you go through it, and it's like you see everything pop in, but then you start running, and your running speed's like your walking speed, even though you're doing the running animation, and everything drops to like 10 frames a second, and it's like oh. And it's funny because I think if you read some of the articles like that talk about like if you go to the Kotaku like the 10 best islands, if you go to the comments of those articles, everyone's saying the same shit. Like, oh my god, I went to some of these islands because they have dream addresses, and it's all like I went to some of these islands and they just did not load. Like they took forever, and like the frame rate. But anyways, yeah, struggle. See so many items load. I actually have video. What's funny is that I took a video of it. And Nintendo's a clever girl because I took video of it because I thought it'd be funny to like post somewhere like look how long this island took to load. But I don't know if like Nintendo has a way to clean up the video, like what you're recording, because in the video it looks fine. It's like suddenly I'm running 30 frames a second and like and everything's loaded in. So I don't know if it renders in a certain way, or if it only records like after it loaded in. I don't know how this shit works. Anyways, talk about anime.
I haven't been.
Huh?
I hadn't been to Stephanie Giannis's island yet, so I can't really tell. She was inviting a lot of people like over the summer last year. Yeah. It was like, hey, I'm gonna be doing these concerts and things. I always feel like Stephanie Giannis should be like more popular than she like already is, with how often I see her at like conventions and stuff like that.
She's weirdly locally popular, and I think that's odd. Oh, how do I say that? That's not like I was knocking her, but I mean she's weirdly only locally popular, I think. And
but like hasn't she also gotten good with like some people from Japan and stuff like that? Like also,
she did a song with oh god, I can't remember her name. She is famous in her own right, but she did a song with Kotakumi's sister. She did that one new song. I think she did a new version of Plastic City with this one pretty big name, like pretty big producer. She's worked with other people. Like she used to work with Polo all the time, and Polo is the guy who's like in Johnny Young Bosch's band and stuff like that. And I'm just like, and she at the time was one of the first people who was doing like collaboration music with Hatsune Miku, like way back, just to go that far back. And it's all licensed. This isn't like she's just doing this on the internet. This is all like stuff. And I'm just like, how is she not that well known? I don't know.
It's like one of those weird situations, and like I'm gonna keep this tension going so that we don't talk about anime. But like, what happened was, what happened is, like I think it's kind of cool when you can have notoriety without it becoming too like intrusive, like because it looks like she's doing what she wants to do, and that's like really cool. And I'm always standing for like like they're dope. And outside of just our space, it's kind of cool whenever they do anything to kind of branch out. It's like this one person that she was working with at Anime Expo, this like Palma Vargas person, who I know nothing about. Like I don't know anything specifically about her. I still follow her and stuff, but like I only knew her because she was doing a thing with Stephanie Giannis and Christina V. And then there was this other girl that like also like did some stuff interchangeably with Stephanie Giannis before. And so after that little like mini lounge concert at Anime Expo, the next time I see Palma Vargas, I'm like tripping out because she's in the what's it called? There was this time where Mana was in concert and she was helping out with like vocals and stuff, joining in with them. And so I'm tripping out because I'm like, wait, hold up. Because I don't know half of the shit about how. Sorry, what was that?
Hold on, I gotta interrupt real fast. Do you mean Mana, the band?
Mana, yes, Mana the band.
Okay. The band, okay, not to be confused with Mana-sama from Malice Meiser. That's who I was.
No. It's like here's the thing: if she would have been in that, I would have been like, okay, I don't know. And also, like internationally, I'm gonna be like, there's whole ass fucking ocean in between that. And it makes me seem like I understand even like when we have the real standouts to just whenever like Baby Metal or someone shows up here and stuff. It's like, yes, that's cool, but we know that their reach isn't gonna be that high maybe. So everybody who's there is like very much synergized for that moment. Okay. And then Palma Vargas is here with like one of the like longest running Mexican
I know.
rock
That's the
bands.
part. That's so weird.
Like I'm like just it's like I'm just tripping, being like, okay, Laura Pausini hires background singers and all this other stuff, but it's just because I saw you in Weeb Circle, and then you're like making this whole ass like jump to this other thing. I'm like, damn, damn. Like I recorded some of those songs. I kind of feel like now maybe I should have done more. It's like, I mean, like she could like I could tell she could sing. It's actually Stephanie Yanis can also sing. It's just because at the time, like Christina V can't sing. At least at the time.
She
Hold on.
she can.
Hold-
She just
I
did
think she can sing.
a singer role in an anime I'm going to talk about during our next section.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
no,
It's
no,
like no, like she has had to get where she needs to get, but I just want to say that when I compare Christina V and she's next to other people who can sing, it's kind of notable, and she's had to really improve. Like I like the projects that she's been in. As of recent, like I like her cover of the what's it called, the Smash thing. I like some of the stuff that she's also worked on with, I think maybe Has Been Hotel, not Has Been Hotel, the other one, the what's the other one called, the Hell of a Boss or something like that.
Hell of a boss.
Okay.
Hold on.
What I'm saying is that her stuff now is good, but like there was still kind of like this phase where she was trying to get better. I think it was everything up until like the last one she used to have. Like it was kind of notable. Like even when she would duet with her ex-boyfriend, I mean, she was exclusively on autotune when singing with him. Like this isn't me trying to be like harsh. Like I can't sing either, really. It's like I could do bar singing and shit because I'll be drunk and high off the moment, but like, you know.
Hold on. Before we go down this rabbit hole, let's move on to anime. But I also want to laugh because when you said Has Been Hotel, I thought you had misspoke and we're trying to say Habbo Hotel, which is something I don't even want to get into it. It's a whole rabbit hole. But go Google that if you know what that is. But no, apparently Has Been Hotel. What the fuck is this? Is this like anime? Is this a cartoon? Yeah. Is this a person? Anyways. So
I want to say that she's gotten better and she can. I'm just saying that at the time, like I would not have thought Palma Vargas was like as talented and devoted as she is. You have literally either have to have a good agent or you need to be fucking good as fuck if you're gonna be on stage with Mana. Like there's no way at all.
I know what Has Been Hotel is. I was right. I know of this because this is one of those the fuck's that website called? It's one of those Tumblr thingies.
The one-off, which is what we're gonna be talking about.
It's one anime. Because this is one of the Tumblr sexy boy type anime. I mean, shows. Has Been Hotel. Anyway, JD.
Yes.
Has Been. I meant Has Been as in Has Been Hotel, but it sounds like I called you a Has Been.
Yeah, but I can't be a has been because I never was, Manuel.
Has been. So we're gonna talk about shorter anime, guys. Now the whole premise behind this is that we don't talk a lot about anime, and also people like me who just suck at watching anime. This is gonna be a recommendation, some shorter ones. Basically, not your Naruto's, not your One Pieces, not your Dragon Balls, not your Nacho Libres.
Not your Detective Conan's.
Yes, not your Detective Conan's. Which, by the way, used to always upset me because wasn't it called Case Closed? Like for some reason.
Yes, still is.
Is it?
Yeah, in English.
Yes, in English, it's still called Case Closed.
I hate that. Also,
blame Robert E. Howard's estate.
When I love Robert E. Howard though, for the record. So I'll take
that's why I specifically brought it up. I remember things, Manuel.
I'll take that back then. But it did upset me. It did upset me that I was like, why the hell is it fucking called Case Closed here? Also, since we're on topic of anime, it always pissed me off that when there's a show that everyone knows. Well, first of all, in Japan it's called Gotcha Man. It's these 5 very Sentai-ish teams, like from the 70s or late 70s, I think. Like it's like what would you call it? There's superheroes, one's a kid, there's a girl, typical Sentai bullshit.
And the bird themed.
Yeah, they're birth themed. That's actually very important when I'm going to get at. They're birth themed. Now, it's funny because apparently most people know it in the US under the title Battle of the Planets. And the only title I ever knew it as is Eagle Riders. Because when I was a kid, and this dates me perfectly, when I was a very, very small child, they had it on a Saturday morning block as Eagle Riders. And apparently that is the most unknown version of that show. It is the footnote of the footnote of the footnote. If you go look up Gotcha Man, most wiki pages might not even mention that it was known as Eagle Riders at one point, or that it's all edited too. And but yeah,
Tatsunoko versus Capcom Bird People.
Yeah,
yes, they're in that
those
game.
people, or Gatchaman Crowd's the newest like 2 series.
But I fucking love Gotcha Man. But anyways, I've always had a thing for Eagle Riders, and nobody seems to like Eagle Riders but me. A lot of the episodes are lost. I think a lot of it is like lost media, and I'm like, I had a bunch of those recorded, and I threw all my tapes away recently, by the way. So I'm probably part of the problem. But let's move on.
All right,
Anime, shorter anime. So what's a shorter anime? We'll do this until this inevitably. Oh my god! Until this breaks down, I'm not even trying to say that word anymore. Until this breaks down and we can no longer be orderly, let's go one at a time.
all right.
And we'll see how this goes until this becomes a hot train wreck. A hot train. Manuel can't talk today. What is this? Was there bad singing? Nope, Manny. Go ahead, JD. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize I was going to be the one to start. All right, then I'm going to start with After School Dice Club. I've talked about this one before in chat, and it's one of my favorite series of the last 2 years or so.
Afternoon Dice Club.
After School Dice Club.
After School Dice Club.
Yeah.
I saw this on the list, but I thought there's video game that. Okay, this is not related to the video game. There's a video game I think called Dice Club.
Yeah.
What is
this? It's basically cute girls play board games, the anime, but with lots of feelings attached to it.
Wait, is this a one-off or is it?
Yeah, all the ones I have on there are one core with maybe a movie or an OVA that doesn't add much to the plot.
Wait, what is one core? Is that 13 episodes?
Yes,
exactly.
All of the ones I have in my recommendations are 13 episodes with maybe a movie that doesn't continue the plot.
Wait, hold on. That kind of feels like it's still part of a long-running narrative, though.
No, it doesn't have to be. There's a lot of single encapsulated shows.
Yeah, this one is a fully encapsulated show too.
So far, I don't know about you, JD, but 64% of Google users like this show, and it has a 6.6 on IMDb. So I don't know.
Hey, don't rate it without seeing it. So yes,
I was gonna rate it 1 star.
Yeah,
I was gonna be that person.
Yeah, Manuel. No, okay, this is my turn to talk. I have the conch. Okay.
Okay.
Conch.
Yeah. So yes, it's about a girl with social anxiety who kind of bonds with new people through playing board games, and they play actual board games, not some bland name product. You will learn how to play Marrakesh, Cockroach Poker, Blockus, all that kind of stuff watching these episodes. And then there's another...
You got me at Blockus. I want to watch this shit so bad now.
Yeah. You had me at Cockroach Poker. What was it called?
Yeah, Cockroach Poker. It's a German game.
Okay, Google's listening to me because it knew what I was typing before I finished typing.
Yeah.
I put in CO and it's like Cockroach Poker.
Yes, okay. And then there's a sub set of episodes in it dealing with Midori, the class president, who's also wants to design her own board games. And in both the sub and the dub, I felt like she really captured the kind of the agony and the ecstasy feeling that is designing board games, like the lows of, oh, this is never going to be any good because I'm just trash at doing this, to the getting positive playtest feedback of yes, 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 and getting the motivation to go work on that again. As someone who has worked on a board game, on an award-winning tabletop game, that really spoke to me. And that's one of the reasons I recommend this. Watch it subbed or dubbed. It's on Funimation. I think it might also be on Hulu.
Okay.
Oh, nice. So
I'm gonna go next because my next one especially that last part kind of reminded me of it. So there's this anime. I don't think it's that well known anymore. It's called Comic Party. And unlike JD, who said he was into a core,
Yeah, so one
um,
core.
a core. But unlike JD, who said that, but that show has 19 episodes. I just googled it. Comic Party only has 13. Now, I fucking used to love Comic Party when I was younger. Now, let me back up and tell you that there's actually 2 Comic Party animes. One's called Comic Party, one's called Comic Party Revolution. I am only talking and recommending Comic Party 1. There's basically it's about these people. Well, about this guy who wants to like make doujinshi and sell it at Comic Cat. And he meets a lot of people. You know, they make a little circle, like a circle that makes doujinshi. And they have this one guy who's like the friend who's like kind of like the mastermind, but doesn't really do anything. They have the actual artist, and then they end up like having a photocopy shit. It's a very good story, very very slice of lifey, very much about doujinshi. But for some reasons, at a certain age when I watched it, which like the early 2000s, I remember me and my friend, when we were doing some of our own little like film projects, and yes, we did really bad like horror movies and shit like that. It felt very much like the little group we had together back then. And like I just loved that anime because it was like, oh look, this is us, this is our story. And mind you, at the time when we watched it, those movie projects were already like 2 years behind us. But I remember showing it to that friend, and I'm like, oh look, this is us, but anime. And then I come to find out that it's based on a dating sim, which is also a hentai dating sim, and that the sequel series, which is Comic Party Revolution, has a lot more of the harem parts to it, a lot more like the episodes don't really matter what order you watch them in. And then I'm like, oh, it destroyed the whole thing for me. But the first Comic Party, if you watch that without knowing that, also it uses that trope of like the 2 otaku where like there's a short not the short skinny guy, the short fat guy, and then the tall skinny guy, and then like what I'm talking about. I think that's actually a trope. And,
there's generally a third one who's like average in there too.
And they my point is that I've seen some of the clips of them too, like out of context, a lot of times as memes from the show, from the first season. I don't think they even show up in the second one, because by the second one, it's all about like, here are all the female characters that we cut out of the first season that like are from the game, that all love the main character, that kind of bullshit, Mm-hmm. But yeah, Comic Party 1, I love it. I also love the way it was packaged, like when people bought shit, like the DVDs were each like a manga volume or whatever, and it was great. I wish I hadn't sold it. That was one of the anime that I'm like, why did I sell that? Like you think I'd keep a couple that were sentimental, but no, I didn't. Anyway, Josh, what's a short anime recommendation you have, and then we'll circle back around.
I'm like kind of confused now because I wasn't sure about like what's it called, the overall premise with like, is it just that it's like, what, are we talking like one season long, or
it can be anything that's not like One Piece. Anything that's not like, it doesn't have to be a one core. Like you could do a 20. I have a couple 24 episode ones on mine, but something that's like one season that you could just sit down and binge in a day if you want to.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to give you a basic option because you two are just appealing to niches right now. So I kind of feel like I'm gonna do this. Okay, so I'm gonna list off. I'm gonna list off an easy one first because first off, Gatchaman. Like I knew of them. It wasn't until the fighting game came around where I was like, oh, maybe I should learn some stuff. Learning through that game made the skit on Robot Chicken funny, but otherwise, I can understand why not a lot of people have heard of War of the Worlds or War of the Battles or whatever.
Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets when it was brought here to the US.
I believe it's just called Gatchaman now.
By the way, by the way, I love that you pick Gatchaman. I had to check it because I think there's only like 50 episodes of Battle of the Planets, or like 32 actually, but there are 100 episodes of Gatchaman.
So sorry, which show are you picking?
Okay, I'm picking what's it called, Ouran High School Host Club. Then
okay,
you're not picking Gatchaman. Ouran High School Host Club. Okay, sorry, Eagle Riders does have its own Wikipedia page now, so I'm really excited now.
Kiss, fall in love.
Hold up, Evilation, you know exactly what the cooking on the enemy household is. Why are you bringing that up? You know what it is.
Now, what is Ouran High School Host Club for those who doesn't know what that is?
Ouran High School Host Club follows our protagonist, Haruhi, as...
Wait, is the character really named Haruhi?
Yes, not that one.
Wait, how are there two Haruhis and
because it's a name, and multiple people can have the same name,
It's a
Manuel?
name still.
I think her last name was like Fujioka or something
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I don't want to get it wrong because something about it reminds me of a character. Like something about the way you say the name reminds me of a character from a different show. But like,
Wait. Okay, keep going.
Okay,
I'll let
so
you explain it. I just realized something. Sorry.
Okay, so Haruhi Fujioka accidentally stumbles upon a high school host club, and when she stumbles upon them, she also drops an expensive vase that leads her to have to work off a huge debt, joining the host club, and overall being hosts in a very rich school. And they think that she's a guy at first, and then slowly everybody learns, no, she's a girl. But for the rest of the premise, it's essentially her pretending to be a guy to see if she can suit her to a lot of different ladies within the host club that buys like drinks, memorabilia, and stuff in hopes that she'll pay off the debt. And it's just nothing but hijinks from there. But I kind of feel like in terms of one and done, this is like on Netflix for like forever, and like almost everybody's like seen it.
No, I first of all, I actually didn't know it was a short series. For some reason, the way people talk about it, I assumed it was longer. But that's not the part that shocks me. I literally just, and I know you explained it already, so this isn't like I'm not M. Night Shyamalaning anyone here, but I just realized, and even though you said Haruhi, I didn't think about it until like whatever. That's a girl. I thought I've seen this. I thought the whole point of the show was it was all boys. I didn't realize it was a girl who was like pretending to be one.
Hey, if we're gonna get like that, I mean, Maid-sama has a guy named Masahina or something like that.
Thank you for bringing that up real fast. Oh, this is my one experience with Ouran High School Host Club, and it used to piss me off for about like years. So it's funny you mentioned that Maid-sama show, because for many years, and I think you have to be an older anime fan or older anime convention goer to experience this. For many years after Ouran High School Host Club came out, they used to only call the male equivalent to a maid cafe a host club. That bothered me because, in case you don't know this, in Japan, the male equivalent of a maid cafe is a butler cafe.
Yes.
And a host club,
like that naturally should be the thing, but continue.
And a host club is a very, first of all, like the butler, anything that's not, because a maid cafe can be very like family friendly. You can go to one, you can pick a date there. Butler cafes are a little different, but a host or hostess cafe, either gender of those, are a lot different. They're a lot more like sexualized. There's a lot more like paid dating kind of almost going on. So it used to always bother me that because of Ouran High School Host Club, and by the way, I don't think that's involved in the show at all, like in the actual host thing, but because of the term becoming popular, that was what they called what should have been called a butler cafe. And there were even sometimes where they would have them be butlers, like they weren't dressed like Ouran High School hosts, they weren't dressed like that. They were dressed like butlers, but they would call them hosts. It used to piss me off. And Anime Expo's official thing was a maid cafe and a host and a host. I think they call it a host cafe. They didn't call it a host club. But yeah, still they called it a host. They were hosts.
I think it's back to being a butler cafe now.
Oh yeah, it's been for about like the past 5 years or so. But like for like the late, pretty much when the show came out until about the mid 2010s, it was host. It pissed me off. Pissed me the fuck off. And apparently, and I used to bring it up every so often. Sorry, I sound like a fucking that weeb. I remember specifically going to a panel at PMX, Pacific Media Expo, which is a semi-defunct con in SoCal, and I went to a panel that was being hosted by one of the then bigger locally made cafes and host clubs that would do a lot of the conventions, including PMX. And I went to their thing, and when it came time for the Q&A, I'm like, "Why do you call your butlers hosts?" And their leader was very upset with me for bringing that up. And she did admit it that she knew the difference, but they preferred the term host, and I was just being an asshole. So, anyways, moving on, JD.
Yes.
Next recommendation.
Yes, my next one is a mouthful. Its full Japanese title is courtesy of Zettai Karan Children, the Unlimited Hyobu Kyosuke, also known as Unlimited Psychic Squad in America.
I've never heard of this show.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Unlimited
Psychic Squad. It's a spin-off of Zettai and Children, but you don't need to know anything about that series that you don't learn in this one to actually get it. Basically, as I kind of put in the document, it's the best Magneto anime we'll ever get, because the main guy, a psychic who was like a prisoner in World War II, experimented on, and is now trying to get revenge and preaching psychic supremacy, or I guess Esper supremacy.
Oh, okay. By the way, for those
like psychic Magneto, yeah.
Like telekinetic.
This is actually very highly rated on all things. It even has an 89%. I don't know why I'm going by Google's recommendations suddenly out of nowhere. But yeah, 89% like this show, according to Google. And I like its very short Google description. An ex-soldier tries to infiltrate Pandra. Like, I need some more explanations there. What the fuck is Pandra? And it's like P.A. Anyway. What's for those who don't know, fun fact, Esper, because I actually, for some reason, usually when you see it transcribed or written out in Japanese, it's still Romaji, they usually capitalize the ESP part of Esper. Or they capitalize it all. But they really do that in English, and Esper is literally the ESP stands for ESP. So they're ESPers is almost a better way to pronounce that in English. Because if you play some old RPGs, every so often they'll call them magic users Espers. And I think Final Fantasy calls their summon monsters Espers in some of the games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's ESPers, like extrasensory perception, I think is the acronym for ESP. But yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway.
This is basically follows
Magneto.
Yeah.
It follows
a guy infiltrating Pandra, which is his the organization that Hyobu runs. Like, as they're going on their missions to help psychics around the world and also advance their psychic supremacy stuff while they're being opposed by the Zettai children, who are 3 psychics. I completely forget their names right now, but they're one with the red hair who's destined to be the most powerful psychic or Esper in the future, and might destroy the world if her handler doesn't fall in love with her. And then 2 friends. It's really weird. It's only from the other show that I've learned this stuff. You don't learn it in here. But yeah, it's really good action, and has a really good theme song. And the opening, it changes depending on what the episode is about. If the episode takes place outside Japan, the opening will be in English. If it takes place in Japan, it will be in Japanese. And if it takes place in the past, the opening will be entirely in black and white. I just like that attention to detail.
That's pretty cool.
Interesting. I might put this on my list. Also, Aya Hirano is in this, and she sounds very familiar. Why do I know her?
Haruhi Susumiya, man.
Oh, did we interview her? Yeah, we
How?
interviewed her. That's exactly
How does your idol ass not remember?
No, I'm gonna have a little story for. We interviewed her at Fanime, and I remember I probably shouldn't tell this. I'm gonna tell it anyway. We interviewed her at Fanime, and I don't know why, if she just maybe her feet hurt, or maybe because technically we were interviewing though, but she came in wearing sneakers, and I guess she wasn't wearing sneakers throughout. And she dress and then sneakers, and they made a very good point to not include the sneakers in anything. And then I guess they told me, but I guess I didn't tell anyone else. But you could see the sneakers in all the photos and everything we took, and we had to reframe everything. It was so obnoxious it was our fault, my fault, because I'm sure I didn't tell anyone. But yeah, and I think that interview was just never, not because of that, but it was just never, they never got back to us about publishing it, so we never published it. So it never happened. You don't have to believe any of this.
But you have the footage though, right?
Yeah, and they did approve the picture, because we took a picture there, and we're like, can we put this on social media now? And they're like, yes. And actually, they didn't have to prove it. Aya had to prove it, herself. She just had to make sure she looked okay in it. And so there is a picture, I think, on the site and on the Instagram of us interviewing her, but the interview, they never approved the full interview. Anyways, my next suggestion, I'm gonna jump Mina's guns. I'm gonna jump Mina's change gears. God, I can't speak here. Oh, that dog barking is coming. Anyway, so something's going on.
I'm sorry, that was on my end.
No, I mean there is a dog on your end too, but there's another dog on my end, which I don't think you guys can hear because my mic isn't that sensitive. But yeah, it's outside. I don't have a dog. It's some like the neighbors. Anyways, I'm gonna go for High School of the Dead. And
I see a true classic, is it?
yeah, and I tried not to pick that many of these kind of things, because I mentioned before we went live that a lot of my choices were either harem or borderline hentai. Like I wanted to recommend the show called Mouse, which is about this thief, and I think it's a 6-episode series. But that one does borderline on hentai a lot as well. But High School of the Dead, I think borderline's just a funny enough way. There's the infamous scene where like this chick like matrix dodges like a bullet with like her boobs.
I know the scene you're talking about. Yeah, it goes under one of the breasts as it's like jiggling, and over the other one. And I think someone actually calculated the speed of how fast it had to be going for that to actually work, and it's way too high.
And I love the show. I actually I can't remember her name anymore, but she did a. What I love. Okay, first of all, what I loved about the show is I don't think a lot of other anime. First of all, is this an OVA? Was this on TV? I don't know.
No,
but
this is full series, I believe.
TV?
Yes, 12 episodes, isn't it?
Each episode had a different ending, and I love the way they did it. Was because like each episode, like there would be this very dramatic part. The song would start playing, then we get the ending theme, and then they come back and they give us a little like actual epilogue to each episode. It was both really good and just really cheesecakey at the same time, like very full of like TNA and everything like that. But I went to go see AX, the person who did all the themes. She was a music guest, but in order to go to see your concert, like it was like a concert at night or whatever, you had to watch the first like 3 episodes of High School of the Dead. And I was like, what the hell? Like I only heard her music before, I didn't actually watch the show. And I was like, oh my god. And I had brought my then girlfriend with me, and she was she did not like the show. She didn't like the show.
I can understand why.
She was very upset by it. But then again, like I know a lot of girls who like High School of the Dead, but she did it. She did it, and I think she was upset that she thought I just brought her to like a hentai. But yeah, because as soon as it started, like I'm not joking with you. If you've never seen High School of the Dead, within the first scene, it's like these two people. I don't think it's the main characters. It might be, but I don't think it is. These two people like fighting like some zombies on the roof. And a girl gets knocked down by the zombie, like immediately. Just like the first few seconds of the show. And there's a mean ass panty shot. And when I mean there's a panty shot, I mean the panty shot has detail. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. And I'll never forget the look she gave me sitting next to me when that panty shot happened on a really big screen at Animix. Oh man. Oh yeah, that was a. See, I laugh about it now, but there was a fight that day. Anyways, everyone go watch it. Go watch it with your girlfriend. And
yeah, dude, no, I have to agree before we move on to an audience requested thing. What's it called?
Nice.
Like, dude, it was absolutely. What's it called? Wait, I need to correct something.
Sorry, they're arguing about Eva's best girl. Eva's best girl is not Ray. I'm just kidding.
I had to. Yeah, no, it's not Ray. It's not Ray. Anyway, what's it called? But no, like High School of the Dead when it came out, like I saw the dub. I don't think I've seen a dub that was so fucking non-nonsense camp and just rolled with it that it just felt good. It's like, did you see that? Did you see that high-rise invasion?
High-rise invasion?
It's on Netflix.
Okay. It's on Netflix. It's like a really trashy, like, it's like a really trashy, like, survival-based show. But, like, you'll have people who will be like, oh, here's a script to something that's obviously kind of smutty and stuff like that, so we don't really care, or we're not really going to do much. And so then you have High School of the Dead, which, like, was like... No, we know this is garbage. We know we're gonna localize some parts of it. Let's just fucking go all out. Reference Walmart? Sure. Reference fucking Cheetos? Like, I don't fucking give a damn. And there's something about it's so... What?
No, I'm looking up High Rise Invasion. This looks very similar. Sorry, keep going.
Okay. But here's the thing. High School of the Dead has... the budget, okay? We all say we want the plot, okay? But we need budget. Otherwise, that plot can only go so far. So it has both. And then on top of that, just like how hard is it that something like this speaks to the human condition in like the first 3 episodes when talking about the very power dynamics that make zombie movies fucking awesome to all of us back in like 2009 and something, you know? But like it just gets the essence of that. And yes, there is trash, but it's like it's a beautiful roller coaster of destruction that is like so cool, and it makes me sad that we won't get an ending officially to that.
Yeah. I think
But
the creator before
it's
she
still
passed away, but yeah.
but it's still good. It's still like so amazing. It's like something where I just kind of felt like, I mean, it's like The Room. You know how when you watch that and you feel like everything about The Room is like
High School
awesomely
of the Dead.
bad in its own way? I feel the same thing with High School of the Dead. You could tear that thing apart in so many different ways, but because they absolutely like go in with both feet into that, it just comes out being like this like beautiful like masterpiece in like a really weird way. The only thing I'll feel is that like as it kind of progresses, it kind of gets weaker. Like that's the only thing that I have with High School of the Dead.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure how far they could have taken the show. I'm kind of glad it ended on a cliffhanger. At least it ended on a cliffhanger. I've mentioned before how you get a lot with shorter anime. A lot of them can't stick the ending, and a lot of them do it in a way where they just don't really end anything. And at the very least, if you leave it on a cliffhanger, at least like you didn't actually end it. So it's like at least it wasn't a bad ending. You just didn't do one. Anyway, did you have a suggestion? I'm sorry, I don't know if I don't know.
What happened was everybody was starting to talk about Ava, and they wanted to hear your thoughts on Ava in the comment section and stuff like that.
They did that episode already. Don't worry.
Yeah, there is a podcast. We already did that. They're just egging me on because because I have shit for you. But do you have a suggestion of a short anime? But by the way, he didn't actually. You don't have to count this one because you just kind of mentioned it in passing. But High Rise Invasion is a 12-episode series, and I did add it to my my thing. Warren, I'm gonna watch it on your Netflix later.
I'd say check it out. I have a different idea for like what I want to talk about, but like I just brought that one up because I felt like I wanted to bring up like a lower budget tier version of like what High School of the Dead kind of is, and then to a greater extent, I guess what the what was that thing? The one where all the kids were killing each other in school. What was that thing called?
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, because it kind of feels like that. I feel like there's a lot of animes that get like that central idea of like this one like pit everybody against each other and this type of thing. And I like to call everything like a Battle Royale season 1 type of clone. Like, but what's it called? Really quick, just on Ava, there is no best girl. I tried really hard to find a best girl. There's just no best girl. There is no best girl. And then I had to learn that the creator of Ava said there is no best girl. Because that's the joke, is that there is no best girl. And then nobody got the joke. So he made the rebuild movies that I need to finish. But it's very much the thing. How the fuck are you gonna make freaking, what's her name? Asuka. How is Asuka going to be, like, somebody who fangirls over Shinji? That completely misses the point of Ava. Like, I was very much tripping balls. And then when they changed the elevator scene, I'm like, no, you fucking don't. What the hell is this? Did he make this to make me angry? Like, everything about first Ava is good, and the end, like, true ending hits even harder. And then something with the rebuilds kind of make me feel like, what's going on? This is not par for the course. And something was just weird. Like,
Eva managed to. Yeah, the chat is going crazy with Eva right now. But anyways, your recommendations so we could get back on track a little.
Oh, what's it called? The what's it called? Promare. Anyone see that?
Yeah, I saw that at AX.
Yes, Promare is the shit. It is everything that Gaimax and then Trigger and then part of Studio IG, even though not really, it's still back to Trigger, but everything about Promare is Gaimax. I feel that is
the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a one-off about a guy who wants to be like this awesome firefighter. There's an actual term in Japanese for what he wants to be. I don't know it. I'm not going to botch it up, but there's like very something specific that dates way back. And so he's taking that type of enthusiasm, wanting to be a firefighter. And what they're fighting isn't just fires. It's like these people who turn into fire called Barnish. And then it turns out that the government actually hates Barnish and is persecuting them hard. So then you have this other character named Leo, also Barnish, but it's like super badass. And then it's just watching Leo, and I unfortunately forgot the name of what's the name of the main character? Also the other main character with blue hair?
Gallo.
Yeah. So you see them butt heads, and then it's like the plot's not really anything original, but everything about this movie screams like Trigger and Gaimax so damn hard, and they keep making references to previous works throughout it. Even the English dub, like the English dub pulls back Haruko from the Haruko voice actor from
Cooley.
They have Steve Blum, I feel, just on speed dial, like, hey bro, do you just want to like be in this shit? It's like, yeah, I got you guys and stuff like that. Like, it's so cool. Like, how did you feel about watching at AX though? I just barely saw it like a week ago.
It was amazing. Like being in that room with everyone watching that as it just got more and more like concentrated Trigger is just yes.
Yeah.
Johnny Young Bosch is in the cast.
Yeah, and he was in Gurren Lagann, wasn't he? He was in the cast of that. He played the priest guy. I can't remember his name.
Yes, he was. You're right. He was that one kid, and then I kind of forgot for a sec.
Huh. Sorry, I'm really I'm just looking at this movie. Now I feel like I should go to more shit. I'm not gonna lie. I assume this was an Animex 2019. I can only assume. They showed this. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was just drunk in the hotel room.
Yeah, that sounds about right from what I've heard about your exploits at cons, Manuel.
I was just drunk in the hotel room. Like, there's an awesome premiere going on. Like, pass me the whiskey.
Well, don't worry. Unless you could get in there with your your press pass.
With the press badges.
Okay, because it was a blob to get in there. Okay.
No, like that's the one. That's actually the funny thing, because usually when AX comes around, it's usually easier for us to get like A to J people on board, because I can pretty much bribe people with a. First of all, a lot of people don't want to like do like work at AX, because obviously at AX we will get interviews, we will do some things, so there is things we have to do. But like I'm like, dude, it's a press pass. Like, sure, you have to like block out a few hours, maybe even each day, but like literally the rest of it, you're like a free premiere badge, like a free like $700 badge. How much those fucking things cost these days? And it's like, front of line. It's even front of them. It's like it's front of the premieres. So yeah.
Hey Manuel, have I ever said how much I wanted to work for A to J in press for like any con? Like, you know, I don't drink, so I will be ready to go at any time. I'll be able to tend people and make sure that they're at the places they need to be. I'll basically be the adult in the room for a press pass and a place to stay.
Oh God. Okay, so moving back, JD, go back to you. What's your recommendation?
Yes, since I promised this earlier when Photaku mentioned Christina V, I'm talking Vivi, Flowrite Ice Song.
I do want to point out that I'm a Christina V stan. Like, that was not a rant coming from a hater. That's a rant coming from somebody who has observed and say that I like that she is where she is now, and it is great with improvement and continue to slay and all the sorts. So I want to say big stan.
I missed the show. What'd you say?
Vivi, Flowrite Ice Song. It's basically a reverse Terminator, where a robot travels back in time and conscripts another robot to help them stop a robot uprising in the future. And the one he picks... Yeah?
Go ahead,
it's this one named Diva, also known as Vivi, who is like a singing robot at a amusement park, but she's like the first one with a certain amount of like sentience or like free will, like so allowing her to act outside of her orders. And so it shows them at like different periods in time. Like the other robot will just pop in saying, "Hey, gotta go change the past now. This is a point of deviation that we have to work at." And so it's just them seeing like all that and how they grow up to that point, and how she interacts with people and how she becomes, I guess, human essentially.
Flowrite Ice Song. This is
it took me a while to find it.
Yeah.
And the dub stars.
Kaylee worked on the script.
Yeah.
You say?
Yeah, she was the like head adapter or whatever for the script.
Interesting. This is
just disclosing that because
this is a new one. too.
Yeah, this was like earlier this year. It's one of my favorite series of this year.
Yeah.
Or it was late
By the
last year.
way, I'm probably gonna edit this video at some point and like put like little pictures up there when we're talking about the particular anime. If I don't feel too lazy, but I could probably do that. That's simple. But I'm just in case I don't do that or I didn't do that. Obviously, you'll know. It's VIVY, which is what took me a minute to find it. Because when he's Vivi, I thought of like Final Fantasy IX, the Black Mage, and I was like, wait, what? And I couldn't find it.
Yeah,
I
not
kept
that
getting
one.
Vivi results. Yeah, I was very confused for a second there. Cool. Let me see. What do I got on my list? Oh, there's one I really want to talk about real fast. Because I wanted to get this one out the way because it is a recommendation, and I think it's like the only one you'll find in anime. I'm sure Judy can correct me on this, maybe, but the Record of Lodoss War. Now, this is actually an OVA series, which is like 12 or 13 episodes, but it is an OVA series. And this is actually when I learned what an OVA series actually meant, because there was a making of on the DVD I had back in the day, where they talked about like expecting people to buy 13 tapes or 12 tapes, however many tapes it was. And I'm like, why would they do that? And then I learned that each episode in the OVA series is sold separately, which blows my mind. But anyway, Record of Lodoss War is as far as I know, and once again, if anyone can correct me on this, go ahead. But it is the only pure fantasy anime series, period.
Describe
and by
pure
the way,
fantasy.
By the way, I know that there is a TV show called Legend of the Heroic Knight or whatever. I'm talking about the OVA series.
Yeah,
which
so I was going to bring that up too.
The Grey Witch or whatever. But
okay, but Manuel, I really want to know how you describe pure fantasy.
It's just okay. Now, every other fantasy series that is like a serious. First of all, I'm just out the window. Is anything comedy? No Slayers, no Louis the Rune Soldier. That's pretty much the thing on top of my head. And it's not pure, if it's not and pure fantasy, I mean where it's not secretly a mecha show. And by that I mean your Rayers, I mean your fucking Escaflownes, I mean your Aura Battler Gunbind, I mean your I can't think of any off the top of my head.
So you just hate fun in fantasy anime, okay?
I just fucking
does it not have soul? What are you describing?
It's just like no, because I'm talking about like this is basically like it's nothing like them plot wise, but basically this is like Lord of the Rings anime. And it's something like that plot wise. I'm saying it's like that where there's no robots from a distant past or whatever. Somehow this is just a normal like party. It's actually hilarious because like the plot revolves around two kingdoms fighting. And you think, and this isn't really a spoiler because this actually happens in the middle of the show, but it's still a mild spoiler. Sorry if I'm spoiling it. But you think this is going to be the big plot of the show. You really think it's going to be. But then halfway through the show, the two kingdoms go to war, and they basically kill each other. Like the two kings just die fighting each other. And then one of the characters, I won't tell you who, ends up becoming like possessed, and they become the villain. Of the actual villain. It's kind of they kind of bust that RPG bullshit, but I do think it was based something loosely on like whoever the fuck wrote it. Like I think it's based on novels and then based on manga and so on. I mean, then manga were adapted from it, but I do think it's way traced back was based on someone's D&D campaign or some other RPG campaign, like similar to the way Slayers was.
Yeah, I believe it was the author's D&D campaign, but it was more like the direction he thought it might have gone in.
Exactly. Like that's what a lot of, by the way, because you don't know, there's a lot of D&D books you read. Like it's like a lot of those were just like the people's campaigns, and they kind of just like make it more interesting. Not interesting, but you know what I mean. Like, make it a story.
Yeah, the way I've heard it is Slayer or not. Lodoss War is basically the way the dungeon master wants the game to go. Slayers is the way the players take it.
Also, real fast, I want to mention that when I was watching the OVA for the very first time in my life, like a long ass time ago, it was one of the very first DVDs I bought to like 2001, 2003 or something like that of anime. I mean to say, and when I was still in high school, like couldn't really buy a ton of shit. I remember watching it, and there's this part in the last episode where by the way, this is where Deedlit comes from. She's like the elf character named Deedlit. The main character rescues her. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler because you fucking you know she's gonna be captured. That's damsel distress, unfortunately. But he rescues her, and when he rescues her and walks out, there is just an exposed titty on screen. and I'll never forget how that I'm like, why is that there? Like literally, I'm like, that didn't need to be there. Like I don't know if they're referencing a frame from the manga, which I'm gonna guess they are. It just seems so out of place and so unnecessary. And welcome to anime.
It's
And
art.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to say. Like, oh, it was offensive and I was mad. But it did make me feel like it kind of took me out of it a bit because the whole show is very serious, dark, very Game of Thronesy, and then suddenly there's a titty. Have you seen it, JD? You know this I'm talking about?
Yes.
But yeah.
When you say Game of Thronesy and then you say titty.
Okay, that was a stupid comparison because there are titties in Games of Thrones. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. That's my recommendation. Oh, also, there is a movie called, I think it's also a show too, but there is a movie called Legend of Cristania, which is technically the sequel. Don't watch anything else. Just watch the original Lodoss War, the 12-episode OVA. Don't watch Heroic Knight. Don't watch Cristania, the movie, or the 3-episode OVA. Don't watch any of that. Just burn it all. Burn it all. It doesn't exist. I'm kind of cheating him. This one I'm calling. Yeah, just ignore those. They don't exist.
We're just gonna say they're not like
they're not
800 chapters and counting. You know.
Well, depending on who you ask, Cristania is not canon anyway. It just has like characters. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The Josh, what's your recommendations this round?
Okay, so okay, so this one is just hands down the best anime of 2020. Like when the world is on fucking fire and you're not sure exactly what to do, and you probably want to like retreat to like your waifus and all that, which I did too. I do want to point out because what else do I have to live for than
your girlfriend?
Yes,
I know.
Girlfriend also who really digs similar things, and also the reverse. So I want to say that we're equally, if not, I'm like a step below like her trash level. So like I want to say that's around it, but like we still connect. Oh wait, somebody's saying that they forgot to ask something.
Oh, it's me. I'm gonna ask your girlfriend if she liked High School of the Dead. But I'm gonna type it out because I already started typing it out.
Well, she can hear you too, so.
Oh yeah, but I didn't want to interrupt his little the thing you were going on about. Yeah, go ahead, keep going.
No.
Oh no, she did it. Okay, well there you go.
So like the point is to that like
girlfriends everywhere. Anyway,
there's like a lot to it. It's just kind of like I like to put everything in the trash anime weeb section of so long as it's not a certain unnamed fucking show that we will never talk about because it is disgusting and horrible. Even to unironically say the name and we won't. But like other than that, I'm like, yeah, I'm a big proponent for like a lot of the stuff in the like harem genre or all that random shit kind of like fan service is fan service. I mean, look at all the Gaimax stuff also kind of like but when that's not enough in 2020, sometimes you feel like is there ever a point where like we hit something that's really interesting in anime, or if we do something that's going to be like slice of life or something, like how can we push something or how far we can go? Which I do want to point that quintessential quintuplets is really cool on the other thing. Sorry, I'm delaying, and that's a longer one. It doesn't count. I'm just saying that you have to hear me out when I say this is the best anime of 2020, and it is. Oh, I almost forgot the name. Great. Okay, I guess it's not that notable. Well, I'm sorry. The Great Pretender. The Great Pretender is the best one-shot anime thing you can watch. It's on Netflix. It is freaking awesome from like. As far as 2020 goes, that is the best fucking anime I've seen in 2020.
The Great Pretender?
Yeah.
The Great Pretender.
Okay, that's type of anime. Apparently there's something else called The Great Pretender.
Yeah, it's also a song that Freddie Mercury covered.
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
and it's the opening or the closing, isn't it?
Song. Is it really? So it is.
No. It is. It's in there. It's a song that was sung by, I'm not sure if it was like the Penguins or something from like way back in the day, but I remember because when the end credits song is playing to this anime, I'm like, oh, I know this song. I wonder who's covering it. It sounds a lot like Freddie Mercury, but like whoever did it's pretty dope. And then the credits it says Freddie Mercury's The Great Pretender, and I was like, no freaking way. So I went to YouTube. Here's how legit it is. They bought the rights to that song so hard that the closed caption default to The Great Pretender right now on YouTube is Japanese. Like,
what?
Yes.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm still reading about all this other shit. The Great Pretender. I've never heard of this show.
Oh, while Manuel's looking up that stuff, the original song, The Great Pretender, was originally recorded by the Platters.
The platters. There we go. Thank you for correcting me.
The only reason I mentioned that too is because that I was looking up that for the longest, not the longest, but like for the first minute of I'm like, who are the platters? They are people. I know who the platters.
Yeah. So anyways, so the plot centers around a con artist kid who's like conning people, and one day cons a foreigner that cons him back, and so he's like, oh snap, so he wants to get back at this foreigner who conned him, and he follows him to Los Angeles. And while there, the guy's trying to con a gangster into like buying his drugs and stuff like that. And suddenly it just becomes this situation where it's just trying to one-up on the con situation just for the fun of it. And it gets like intense at times. But then after that, when you start to realize how the flow of the show works, it gets very interesting as it progresses. And I think it's rather cool because, you know, when you're not traveling or going anywhere in 2020, there's something about the vibe in it that just feels so interesting. Not to mention, I had so much fun switching languages on this thing. It's in Japanese when it starts off, and then like while like they're talking, the what's it called? The main character is speaking like broken English to the foreigner guy, and so they're exchanging like just straight up talking English back and forth until the anime says, okay, from this point on we're just going to be in Japanese, and then we subtitle. But like, I decided to like go back and check all the languages with it because the gangster they speak with is technically a Mexican. So when you watch it in Spanish, like it's weird. Like it's weird because this foreigner is supposed to be French. This foreign con artist is French. So in all of them, he speaks Spanish. In all dubs, he will speak Spanish to the bodyguard who will say that they don't happen to know being friends with a French guy. And so in all of them, they just kind of feel like whatever, because they're just speaking the default language. In Spanish, though, the French guy speaks French, and then correctly so, the Mexican guy is saying, like, I don't recall being friends with somebody who's French. And then if you could, like, each different arc is a different language. It's just so dope. Like, there are some parts that need to be fixed, but otherwise it's interesting. Otherwise, the default language that you would watch this is in Japanese. In Japanese, I think that's the... Yeah.
Is there a part where they go to Shanghai? Because I see Shanghai in this list.
Yes, there is.
Manuel just focusing on China, but yeah, I see Shanghai in this thing.
I'd say in the long run, it's probably better to just watch it in the Japanese dub because I think that's the way it's kind of intended. There's a lot to it in the Japanese dub that flows a lot more naturally, especially when it gets to its last arc. But otherwise, like, I feel that there needs to be a version of this where they just wholesale go like feet first into each particular language. It's just so hard to have to go back and navigate towards, but that would be like the definitive cut. That would be so awesome.
Get on it, Netflix. You did that reorder of what Arrested Development season, was it 3? Do this in all the different languages.
There's
and one thing that's in Vietnamese also.
There's a cool thing. God, I can't even talk anymore. I gotta watch this. I was gonna cut it off for those things that it wasn't a full thought. But I gotta watch this. This one, I'm adding this to my list for sure. Shit. Well, I'll just add it to this list, I guess, right here, because everything else is already written. Anyway, you want rapid fire a few in this. I guess surprisingly, we didn't go off the rails that much. We even kept some of the non sequiturs to a mild minimum. You want to rapid fire a few, JD, before we like do this last round?
Yeah. Are we going to do a last round? I thought we were just going to start wrapping up.
No, we'll do a last round.
Okay. I'm going to do a couple ones with the little sum ups I had given them. So, Mars Red, from like 1 or 2 seasons ago. Vampire soldiers in Taisho, Japan. What could go wrong? It invaded.
What?
Psychopath meets Inception. Odd Taxi.
Wait.
Taxi driver, but with more anthropomorphic animals.
No, I'm still looking at Mars.
Slaps.
Wait,
just
sorry.
For the record, it slaps so hard. There's no season 2. All of it slaps, except season 2.
Hold on. If there's vampire soldiers in Taisho, Japan, by the way, for those who don't know, Taisho is the era that came before Meiji.
After.
I'm sorry, came after Meiji. Sorry, yeah, I meant after. Why the fuck is it called Mars Red?
Good question. I have no idea. Ask the author of the play it's based on.
Okay, keep going.
Astra, Lost in Space, Among Us, the anime. because it's kids stranded in space, and one of them is the traitor, and they have to figure it out.
Keep going.
And then another one that I might bring up if we ever do this again, or if I convince Manuel to give me a call, I'm just writing about 12-episode anime. Hitoribochi no Maru Maru Sekaitsu. Making friends when you have anxiety, the anime. It really spoke to me as someone with anxiety.
Oh, Maru Maru, for those who don't know, it's what you have like it's like the blank. It's like saying blank, and you have usually it's there for like a name or something like that. It's the nothing. I was curious how you're gonna read that. Anyway, that is how you read it. But by the way, just before I say my list, I fucking watched this YouTuber. This is a stupid way to say this. I watched a YouTuber watch the fucking Arcade Craniacs. I fucking hate Arcade Craniacs. They're like one of the biggest YouTube channels right now, but they do those 3 a.m. challenges for like 5-year-olds. But they did one, well, he watched one that they did where they were fighting the imposter, and it's just this person in a suit. But like, there was this part, even though he was doing it to talk shit about the Arcade Craniacs, when like he sees the imposter, and maybe I'll even cut to the clip here, just show it. But like, so I'm gonna edit some of this. But like the main guy, you might know this guy because he's the one who's Elmo's really gonna get possessed by Elmo at 3 a.m. That was a meme. But anyways, he sees the imposter, like the guy dressed in the Among Us thing, and he's all like, "Do you see? He has a big ass, and I want to smack it." Sorry, that just.
Oh my god.
You guys! He literally has a fat ass, and I want to smack it!
I don't want to laugh because no! What do you mean?
Sorry, the dump truck of an ass memes are just like, I live for those Among Us.
But yes, I'll keep wheedling Manuel to do this again because it took me about 2 or 3 solid months of doing it to get this episode.
Mhm.
Yeah, we probably will, because this is actually a topic that we'll put this on the back burner if we ever don't have a topic again, because which is a lot of times. Not saying that'll never happen, but
like I said,
I'm just saying
that or like content for the website. I will write about this. I'm not that good, but I can write about a lot of these, and I have more than the ones I have on there to either watch and kind of review. I just need to think of a title. I was going for either course story, brah, or one core meal, as in like one course.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So I'll rapid fire a couple of mine. First of all, I mentioned Dirty. I did a whole Drink Talk Learn presentation on Dirty Pair Flash. I think that's on Funimation right now. It's on some streaming site. So go watch that. That's a great one. That's one of my favorite anime. Period. Also, I know there's once again I'm half cheating because there's a whole Dirty Pair series before that, but I don't care about that much. The OG Bubblegum Crisis OVAs. There's 8 episodes, they're all about an hour 40. They're about 45 minutes to an hour-ish long. Fucking awesome. They're retro, they're good, and they're fucking you can tell my age here because it's all old shit. Now I wanted to talk about Magical Shopping Arcade Abenobashi, because that's another kind. Honestly, there is fan service, but there's a lot of just weird humor in that one. I want to watch it again and see if the humor has aged badly, and I don't mean like in a on PC way. I mean, well, maybe that too, but I mean more so just because humor ages weird. I'm curious if it's still funny. But Magical Shopping Arcade Ebenobashi was one of my favorite series back in the day. And my big last recommendation that I really want to do this whole segment is the Escaflowne movie. I know I just talked shit earlier about like anime that aren't real fantasy because they put in robots, but I don't dislike them. I was just trying to make a point that there is no pure anime series out there. But I do love Escaflowne. I do recommend the TV series too, but the movie I prefer. This was the first anime movie I ever watched in theaters. And I watched it long before I watched the show. And also, this was the very first time I got actually by a weeb in my life. A friend of mine, we were talking about I was talking to my friend about going to see this movie. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go see that movie called Escaflowne," which I'm sorry, that's the way you would pronounce it if you never heard it before, right? Sorry, I think my earphone got unplugged. Okay, there. Say something.
Hello?
Okay, there. No, and you guys weren't talking, but I definitely unplugged my earphone. Sorry. So, anyways, the Escaflowne thing, he's all like, actually, it's called Escaflowne. Do you even know what you're talking about? He literally did this to me, and like got all of my keys. It got to the point that like because he was a friend of a friend. It got to the point, and he wouldn't shut up about it. That he's like, oh, he's gonna go watch Escaflowne, and I'm like, that seems like a very reasonable mispronunciation to make. You know, there's no accent on the last E or anything like that. But yeah. Anyway, that's my story. It's just a girl gets sent to like fantasy world, not isekai. This is before the isekai thingies.
No, it's still an isekai series. It's an early isekai series. It's just yes. It fits all the things of an isekai series. She gets transported to another world. It's why Ray Earth is also technically an isekai series.
I guess. Okay, well, it's an isekai series where this girl gets transported to the fucking medieval world, and she ends up becoming a pilot. Well, not pilot, but she has to control this robot. There's this fucking little not animal boy, like a savage boy, like reminds me of Gal from Final Fantasy VI. And then yeah, it's a show. That, mind you, actually the girl's the fucking Gal character. But anyways, sorry, it's been a long time to see that. But I also love the song called Yubiwa, aka The Ring. Not to be confused with The Rings before that, but yeah, it's great. Just go watch it. The movie, not TV show too, but I prefer the movie. I'm probably the only person that'll say that, by the way, who prefers the Sony movie. Because I think everyone's all like, they rushed the plot. They put the whole plot in 90 minutes. I liked it.
It's gonna be like you complaining about Dune. What, next week?
Dune, no, I'll save that for next week. But Dune is fucking up. Dune is the Final Fantasy VII remake of movies right now, because Dune is calling itself Dune and not telling anyone in its marketing that they're only adapting the first half of the book. Did you know that? Because I just found that out.
That sounds problematic.
Yeah, did anyone
that
know
sounds
that
like a really expensive, problematic thing.
I've been following this movie for years, and I only found that out because, thank God, they're actually going to send me a screener of it soon, because I'm on a press release for... I mean, technically, it's not A-to-G related, but they send us things for like all these big budget movies too, and it's one of the... It's surprising that whoever the fuck's handling their PR is somebody who handles Yoshiki's PR. Yeah, Yoshiki from X Japan, because that's the person that keeps sending us the random Hollywood shit. But anyways, it was in that presser that I learned it was only the first half, and I'm like, that's some bullshit. And they didn't film it back to back. So if they ever do the second half, it's gonna be like fucking 5 years later. Everyone's gonna be 5 years older. It's stupid. Anyways, that's my Dune rant.
They spent all this money on all that. Star power.
They only filmed half a movie, and nobody has signed up for a sequel.
You mean half a book?
I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a flop, and then it's not going to make. They're never going to film the sequel, and I fucking hope it is.
Hey, Manuel, can we get you to make a bet just in case that sequel comes out?
I will eat sand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Zendaya.
Jared Leto.
Like how do you know how hard of a fuck up that is?
Yeah, just last thing. I also hated that they casted Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. This is a massive spoiler. I don't care if it is. Duncan Idaho becomes the main character of the Dune series, and you have to cast that's a very important character. I know he's unimportant in Dune, like as in Dune the first story, but
the second
horrible miscast. That's a horrible miscast. He actually dies in the first half, fun fact. I don't know if they're going to kill him off, but spoiler alert, Duncan Idaho dies. But yeah, so you might be wondering how he becomes the main character. Read Dune and find out. Anyways, that's my end of my rant.
Okay, let's wrap it up, Manuel.
Okay, so
he's a clone.
Rapid fire or
rapid fire. Yeah, rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire. So there's Red Line. It's anime Fast and the Furious / Wacky Races. It's
in space.
Shit.
Wait.
In space. Yes, in space. Your Lie in April. Just good. Just really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have things to say about that, but
it's the anime version of those two guys on YouTube that play the violin. It's those guys. The anime version of those two guys who play the violin on YouTube. There is what's it called? Another Final Destination anime. That one's pretty dope.
Sorry, what's the name of this anime? You said there was another one, but what's the name? I'm kidding. Yes, I know the name of the anime is actually Another.
Another.
Oh,
Yeah,
another.
Final
That's gonna
Destination
be annoying
ending.
to look up.
Shit, I had a different one. I was just going off of some that were right here. That's why I'm like kind of like forgetting a few. Shit. Gosh
Hold
damn
on,
it.
hold on.
Fully
For 1
coolly.
second. Hold on for 1 second. This girl with this black hair and the eye patch. Is there another character that looks like her from a famous anime? Because I've seen a lot of people.
I think it's
cosplay her.
Love
It's Chunibyo
Chunibyo and Other
anime.
Delusion.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I got that
No, you're
confused
not,
too.
You're not going crazy. It's like
Okay, she just looks very familiar. Yeah. Okay. Bad character design. Keep going, Josh.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The first Fully Coolly, the first 6 episodes, the one that were intentionally made to be an actual thing, and production ID really fucked up. That there's no way harder than to say you fucked up. What's it called, production IG? So missing the point. But yes, the first Fully Coolly, it's just its own crazy randomness and amazing balls, and it actually does have a plot when you rewatch it enough. So yes, what's it called? There's that. There's Shit, there was like this other one that was like a few of Devilman Crybaby. Holy freaking hell. That is the most like people said they were just redoing like the original one, but like in a modern way. And I'm like, holy crap, that went places I didn't expect it to go. It's really good. Maybe some of the animation's jank, but it is good.
Yes.
Is good.
Okay.
I won't argue with you because I don't want to drag this out, but I'll just say that. I just think the animation was trash, and I've mentioned this before.
Yeah, I remember watching the first episode of that series. I had to watch it twice because I watched it first time late at night while I was medicated on something, and I had to make sure I didn't hallucinate most of that episode because it just gets
anime. It wasn't an anime. You know that show with the Toblerone? I don't know what that thing's
called.
Neo Yoko.
It looked like that. It looked like that. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it reminded me of that. That was, I'm like, did the same people? Sorry, my mic keeps falling. It won't stay up. I'm like, did the same people work on that? Because it looked like that bullshit.
Yeah, no,
But
Manuel, calm your
bad.
dick. It wasn't the same. At least I don't think so.
I know. I'm gonna look that up later.
All right, let's
sure it isn't.
wrap up.
Anyways. So is that it? I think.
Yeah, we all went through our quick
That's all I
fires.
could think of at the time. They'll probably be the other ones I'll beat myself up for, but there we go. Those were some of my spitfires.
Just save it for the sequel.
Yeah, we'll save it for the sequel. I can do a whole sequel on a fucking Go Nagai one shot because he has a crap ton of those. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Wrap it up, guys. We're gonna say practice, say sex. Or don't. I'm not your dad. I don't know. I'm not your dad. You could be a dad. But anyways, okay, I'll shut up. God damn it, we didn't talk about the Mario movie. Recast Chris Pratt, Nintendo. That's it. That's all. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, use real voice actors. Make us get lost in the role.
Honestly, I can live with anyone else getting recast but Charles Martinet. That's the part that pisses me off.
Why they wouldn't just do it? The guy is still alive.
He's in the cast. That's the annoying part. Who the fuck's he gonna play? Wario? But anyway, I mean, probably will. I don't know, but still.
No, make it Elon Musk. If Elon Musk wants to die on a hill, make him Wario. But no, you don't. You don't have Mario in the Mario movie and don't cast him as Mario. That's weird.
And I keep seeing shit about Chris Pratt being like weird. And I won't go into that. Just Google it yourself. But I actually didn't know this, and it's all like on his Twitter, and you could just—it's one of those. Apparently, stuff he's been mildly canceled, but nobody cared until like now. But go Google that on your own, though. That's the end of that. That's all I had to say about the Mario movie, honestly. Let's make another Sonic movie where we just like talk enough shit that Nintendo does it. Well, also
we will talk enough shit, and we hope that they do it.
Also, I want to point out something that apparently nobody has really noticed. That's just the American cast, so that implies there's a Japanese cast. Just watch the Japanese version. I don't know. I kind of like the other people in it though. But anyways. That's our show. We're gonna do this again for sure. After Halloween, the Halloween schedule is coming up. Next Tuesday, we're gonna be talking horror movie remakes. Hopefully, Nyaru's back. We're talking about horror movie remakes with Weston. I hope Nyaru's back because it was technically an idea we had with Nyaru. Like that was the first one we planned for this whole season. So I hope that she comes back for that. After that on the 12th, which is let me open the calendar real fast. The first one I assume is on the 5th because that sounds about right because 7 days.
Yeah.
7 days. But on the 12th, it's gonna be us watching Night of the Living Dead. We're just gonna literally watch it and riff off of it. It'll be like Ultra Podcast Z, Ultra Podcast Z 3000. That's what
Yes,
it'll be.
it's also public domain, so it's
Yeah, it
totally
is.
legal.
Yeah, I will censor the one butt just because I'm worried about the butt. I keep talking about that. There is one ass in the movie, and I've already downloaded a version that I want to censor the butt and re-upload it somewhere. But anyway,
Your ass cut? Is that what you're gonna want?
Yeah, I'm gonna use the going to guy image that going to guy censors all the time. Like when he shows like a crotch like that, I'm gonna use the going to guy censor. But anyways, and the 19th is gonna be us. What is the 19th gonna be? Oh yeah, us talking about internet horror stuff with Q and probably someone else too, because I have a friend of mine who wants to do that one too. We'll see what happens. Like creepypastas and like Jeff the Killer, all that bullshit. And the 26th, I actually don't know what we're doing as for the show, but Melancholia is gonna be on. So tune into that. We've had Melancholia as a guest like many times in the past, and they have an album coming out. I think it's gonna come out on the 5th. Fun fact. So go check out, go pre-order it on or preload it or whatever they call that when you do it on Spotify. And yeah, I think it's called My Years with You, if I'm not mistaken. The new album. Sorry, Melancholia. I forgot what the name of the album is, but follow them, Melancholia with 2 A's and an H. On Twitter and everything else. They're great. And they're also going to be guesting at Anime Week in Atlanta, like right after the podcast appearance. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Josh, for showing up. Well, this wasn't a last minute thing. I actually asked you like on Friday. But thank you for replacing another friend who couldn't make it tonight. It was a lot of fun. And thank you, JD, for being here and not canceling Nyaru. And thank you, Nyaru, for proving me right that it does happen sometimes. Sorry, let me go back to the chat. I had it all closed. And anyways, peace out. Watch all our shit. Like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Ed, Kenneth, and Joshua, our current patrons. If you want to support us, patreon.com/AtoJConnections. Or you could just keep watching our shit. That's pretty much it. Subscribe, like the video. If you're watching on YouTube, because I probably did a lot of edits on, like and subscribe. Just do it. Just do it.
Just to do it.
Just do it. Anyways, peace out. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Good night.
Night.